Hello, readers. Welcome to a special edition of 20 Questions with Your Favorite Author. Tonight, we have a book launch by debut author Lihia DeWitt, Touch of Fate. This one is for all of you romance fantasy fans out there who loves Fae versus pirates and enemies to lovers. Lihia DeWitt is a quirky bilingual writer residing in Mexico City, an eternal romantic who's loved fairy tales and swashbuckling stories all her life. And tonight we also have her editor, S.G. George, on to tell us how amazing the book was, when she was done fixing all of the commas. Yay! Welcome! We're so excited tonight. Are you happy? How does it feel to be a published author, Lihia?
It's kind of funny because I woke up today home as a cucumber. I was like, oh my God, I have no emotions. What's happening? Because I'm a very emotional person. So I'm like, but things began to pull up, and I had such amazing response and support and love today. And excuse me, I might break a little bit, but it was amazing how people responded to my book today, and I'm so grateful. I'm so thankful, really, about this opportunity. So now it's just so amazing to see something that you work on for years, because I've been working. This book grew up with me as an author. I the first time I wrote it in 5 days. I was so excited when Ryan Ambrosius came to me and the titles. Of course, that first draft doesn't look anything at all like what you're seeing now. So it was very exciting to see them developing, So now having them out there, it's indescribable. It's amazing. It's amazing. But really, yeah, I already cried today, so maybe I won't cry right now.
Oh, crying's fun. It sells more tickets. It's fine. It's fine. But first, I do want to make sure that Zafo puts up the link. So anyone who wants their copy, make sure to get that now. We'd love to see that baby go to #1. I think you've earned it. Well, so this is your first published book. So I am wondering, what was it like going through the editing process for you?
That was, I already went through a critique feedback cycle before, but it was with writers, writers like me.
Those writers, you can't trust them. Sorry, Wolf Lady's in here right now, so I know she was one of them.
I actually trust Tracy and Jess. They were amazing. And a few others that really helped me out. But, going through that development edit with you first, Kelly, it was amazing because it was definitely a different approach. Is when you see, okay, this is professional. Even though I'm very, very grateful to those writers that helped me with my in my path and with this book, I'm really, really grateful. But it was amazing.
Too. They did a lot of hard work for me, so no, I love that.
Yeah, and with George, with Sarah, it was also amazing because she has a great eye. With all the changes that you do, sometimes you forget that you didn't name the character, and then suddenly you were naming, and she was like, why are you naming him? She doesn't know his name. I'm like, yeah, all right, sure. So that was very good. That was pretty good. I didn't have that, roses are red and his eyes are blue, but you said they were brown back on page 72. So I didn't have that, thankfully. I was consistent with that, so that was amazing. But yeah, she reminded me also. There was like, wait a minute, you say Faye didn't explain. Why is she explaining right now? You're right. So it was a very good experience with her. Yeah.
Yes,
I love it.
Yes, she's amazing. There's a reason why we must have her on staff. So I'm wondering, obviously, English is not your first language.
Nope.
No, and what is your first language?
Spanish.
Spanish? And so, question, why did you decide to write this in English?
Oh my God, how many hours do we have? No. This is actually a very complicated question because it wasn't something that I actually decided to do. But I'm gonna try to be succinct. If I'm not, just let me know. But I started loving English literature, and I think I always say that wrong. That word wrong. And I loved it.
You said it perfectly.
Oh, thank you. So anyway, it was something that I was not planned. I like a good writer, I was a bookworm. Read a lot of books, but then I found that I was, heading toward that. And I love fairy tales. I love pirate stories since I was a little. So I started, reading those books in English, and you know, it's very, I am very thankful for translators because otherwise we wouldn't be reading a lot of books. But I started reading these books in English a long time ago, like 20 years ago. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. Just so you know, the first books it was James Clavell's Shogun, which is one of my, top 5 books that I love, Shogun. And it was Harry Potter, actually, the 4th book, and it was Jane Austen. Also, Jane Austen, I found her. I first read it in Spanish, then I read it in English, and I was like, "Oh my God, this is amazing! I love it." So when I started writing, I didn't think about it. I wrote it in English. Then I tried in Spanish, but because I've been reading in English so much, it felt natural. But then I found this place called Critic Circle, which is the place where I get feedback. And it was in English, and I couldn't find that in Spanish. I never found anything like that. And I love, sharing my books, my stories, everything because this is not my first book. I have a lot of books that I've been writing and they're on the shelves. And so I shared many of those stories there, and it was amazing. And it was so heartwarming to have those people cheering me up, helping me, and saying, no, that's okay. Your English is fine. So just keep pushing it. And I'm so thankful for them. And that's why I wrote in English. It was natural.
I love it. I love it. Well, I have to say, when I first read it, I knew you, right? Because we met at Superstars. So
Yes.
I knew English wasn't your first language. And I couldn't really tell. I couldn't tell by reading it. So, I mean, that was pretty impressive because I was like, I don't know if I'm up for a translation. No, it was great. I was wondering, Birdie, was there anything that you noticed specifically, like that made you know it was another language?
I didn't even know she wasn't. I didn't even know she was bilingual until I think the book launch. So, yeah,
okay,
or not the book launch, but the cover reveal. Yeah. And so, like, either you're really, really good at English or Kelly's really good at doing my job. And I know it's not that.
Oh, okay, fine. No, it's not. You're right, because that's not my job. I don't do it. Yeah.
Because she knows I'm preposition challenge. You see, now you tell me that I'm good in English, and of course I'm gonna trip over the words. So I'm preposition challenge. I'm always like, oh my God, I did this wrong, but I'm trying to improve because I really love it. So I'm trying to learn. I'm trying to learn from my mistakes. So yeah.
Do not. I can't blame you. Yeah, the ons and the ins. That's what I always said. The only time I realized that English wasn't your first language were ons and ins. Yeah, and then when you started to explain the ons, I'm like, oh yeah, I guess it is really confusing, isn't it?
Well, I have worked with 2 other bilingual authors, and they both have that exact same problem. So it's not just you.
That in a chair and on a chair, I remember that drove me crazy when I was with my critic partners. And I was like, why? Tell me why. What's the difference? And they were like, I don't know. English is weird. Really?
It's instinctive. I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, Wolf says prepositions are hard for native speakers too. Yeah. Yes, definitely. Yeah. And Jessie says you're better than you think.
Oh, she's amazing. I love you.
Yes.
And you know what? This is kind of funny, but because sometimes I could tell you that I say like an odd word or phrase here and there, but I can't blame that in my bilingual status because I do the same in Spanish. Sometimes people tell me like, what? What did you say? I don't know. My husband is a lefty, and he always tells me, you have a brain like a lefty, because he said that left-handed, always think differently, process differently. So he says, no, you're like a lefty, because I have this. So I think that quirkiness, translates into English. So if you read something odd from me or anything, it might be that preposition, of course, that's my demon, but. Yeah, some of the phrases, it's because that's who am I.
Yeah, Miranda says those kind of problems are why that they gave up the idea of writing in any other language. So you were doing awesome. Nicely done.
Thank you, Miranda. You're amazing. Thank you.
Yes. Jess says English is crazy. Spanish makes perfect sense. No, I'm sorry. Spanish is too emotional for me. I can't handle it. When I was trying to learn Spanish, that was the kind of thing. But that is the cool thing about languages, right? When you start to learn different languages, you learn a little bit about the people who speak them as well. And and we're talking American English, right? Yeah, we're crazy and it totally works. But here this is 20 questions. So I want to ask some awesome questions.
Okay.
So first I would like to know, which one of your characters do you think is more likely to wear a tux to the opera?
Bricious.
Bricious.
Yeah,
Right,
the pixie. He's a
tell us a
passionist.
little about Bricious.
So Bricious is a little pixie. He's 7 inches tall, and humans cannot see it unless you're a human touched by Fae, of course. So he's very protective. He's a little bit paranoid, but he's very fashionist. So when he's the human world, he likes to dress the part. So when he accompanies Ryan to her date, she's wearing a little black dress. Of course, he's wearing a black suit as well. So Ryan, actually, you don't see that in the book, but Ryan wonders, where does he get that? And she believes,
where does he get all these clothes?
Yeah, I think she believes that he likes to flip JQ magazine and things like that, fashion magazine. So he loves that. You have to see him book 2 when he's on a certain ship. Yeah.
I love
so
it.
yeah, he loves it. Yeah. So he's the one who will wear a tuxedo. Of course.
All right.
I can see him.
Which character is most likely to eat be the first one to pick the donut out of the donut batch? Like if you get a dozen donuts, who's going to choose the donut first?
Oh, okay. Ryan and Bricious. Bricious will not, again, Bricious actually will stomp his feet on the donuts because he doesn't really like human food, but he always has to see what's happening and try to do something. So when Ryan goes to the break room in the nursing home, there's a box of donuts. She already see the pixie feet stamped on the donuts. So he's the first one to go and check out. So yeah, again, Bricious. She might pick it up. Actually, it's going to be Sam, who's Ryan's best friend. She loves donuts. So yeah, Ryan will be the third one. But yeah.
Excellent. All right. Out of all the creatures that you have in your book, which ones are the scariest?
Oh, okay. So we have the Earl King.
Mm-hmm.
He's like you have the Fae, which is like the light part of the land, and then you have like the dark part of the land, which the Earl King rules. So dragons are at his command, goblins, trolls. Well, the Puka, no. Puka is actually a pretty, I love that character. He's from the Irish mythology, I think. And he's no one side, so he's not going to be that scary. So I'm going to say the Earl King, yeah.
Nice. I love it. Yeah. And we get more of the Earl King in book 2, don't we?
Yes. Yeah, I love that character. I love that character. In both book 2 and book 3, he's going to have his share of. Yeah.
Awesome. And Birdie, for your, I'm apparently going to call you 7 names. Birdie, for your, you have 7 names. I can't help it. For your read, who was your favorite character when you went through it?
I also really liked the little pixie, Bressius. He was cute. He was loyal.
I told her she had to put him in more.
Yeah. Yes.
He was my favorite too.
Yeah. Actually, Bricious is from the reviews that I've been having. They love Bricious, so I'm very excited. Yeah, he has been very, very fantastic to write. Yeah.
Yeah. Wolf says Bricious was her favorite too. Jessie is all for Titus though.
Yes. Oh, she's always been Titus. Always.
I mean, he is hot and steamy. You got to give him that.
Yes.
I love it. Why don't you, since we haven't even set up the book yet, I got too excited with my questions because I have lots of fun ones laid out this time. Why don't you give us just a quick breakdown of what the book is about? Or do you just want me to read the back cover copy?
I can tell you very quickly. It's a contemporary fantasy adventure with a strong dash of romance, of course. Where you see the Fae land is in danger, so they need help because they can't fight against the unnatural foe, which are immortal creatures that are threatening the land. Mm-hmm. So they need help. And that's when Ryan comes in. She's a human touched by Fae, and she's the bridge between the Fae and the Bradais. The Bradais are the immortal creatures. They were created with dark magic to destroy the Fae. and the Faete can't win against them. It's not an easy thing for the Brades as well, but Ryan has a quest. So she's faced in a fork road at some point in the book, where she has to accept her humanity or accept her touch of Fae completely and go into an impossible quest to help the Fae and help the land she loves. Otherwise, it will be obliterated by these creatures.
Well, I love that part. Oh, I love it because a lot of times you get like this one character who is just so special that only they can do that. But that's not, even though Ryan is special, don't get me wrong, because it's boring otherwise. But she's not the only one. There have been others like her. Who never got to where she is, right? Like there isn't anything special with her, but there's something very special about Titus.
Yes.
So Titus is not like his other brothers and sisters,
No, you will find a lot more about that in book 2. Understand where he comes from. Of course, I can't say a thing about that. But yes, there's something about him that makes him special. He's one of the foe. He's one of the mortal Brades who has a bloodlust, especially to kill Fae. But there's a sliver of a conscience in him, even though he doesn't like it. But it makes him question everything that his creator infused in him. His creator is imagine like a Sauron type of god who only wants darkness, and he wants to get his hands on the Feyland. So he controls his creatures like a master puppeteer. But Titus has something in him that questions that link, and he's trying to break free, but he can't. He tries so hard and then gets frustrated because he just can't fight his creator. But there is a reason why he's chosen. I can tell that because that's part of the book.
That's the whole thing. It's so exciting. So I'm putting in right now in the chat because someone asked about the question, because we learn where Titus, we see his first day on Earth, let's say, in a short story that you give away for joining your newsletter, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to put up your website on here, and anyone interested in that free short story, and it is incredible. So it takes place before what happens in the book. So you get a little bit behind the scenes for Titus, which we all want more Titus. But it was this one was definitely more Ryan's book.
Yeah.
So you will see that as we go through, and of course their relationship. So if you go to lehiadewitt.com, and there on her very first page, it says join my readers crew, and you'll see the Awaken title. So if you hit join my readers crew, you'll be able to sign up and you will get that story for free. So I highly recommend it. So I just put that in the chat for anyone who needs it.
And you get more Titus. I mean, there's a lot of people who's asking about more Titus backstory. There's a lot of them. We have a lot of information, so we'll be sharing,
Don't worry, there's plenty.
Yes.
You're welcome, Sheepbook. You're very welcome.
Thank you, Sheepbook.
Yes. So yes, so that's on there for anyone who wants that. I forgot what I was saying now. I got excited about the newsletter. As you go through, and also her newsletters are awesome. She did interviews with her main characters and all kinds of cool stuff.
It was really cool.
Yeah, it was fun. So I'll say Sarah, you do a lot of, you edit a lot of novels, you do a lot of fantasy, you do all that kind of stuff. What did you think about the Fae versus pirates in this? What was unique about it?
I thought that it was an interesting, dynamic with the power struggle between the two, because most of the time it's the pirates who have the upper hand. The pirates are the ones who kill the Faes, but the Faes have the upper hands over the pirates, and the pirates are still determined to win anyway.
Yeah, it's very interesting how that works, except the Fae for some reason can't kill the pirates or the Bradae. So you have this whole, so even though they're more powerful, yet they can't kill them. So it's very fascinating the way that you laid that out. So Lihia, I'm wondering, what were your inspirations? So you talked about the literature you liked, and that's why you wrote in English, but what were some of the inspirational stuff that you read that really helped you form this world?
So part of it was my obsession with Pirates of the Caribbean and not Jack Sparrow.
What's wrong with Jack Sparrow?
I mean, I love Jack Sparrow. I mean,
Yes.
I love Jack Sparrow. But that was even before that. There were these, and this is a very, very old author called Emilio Salgari. He's actually from the 1800s, late 1800s. And my family had these 60-ton books at home, and of course I had to read them all. And there was this pirate who was so bloodthirsty, but he was also, in love with his enemy's daughter, of course. So he was so passionate because he's Italian. The author is Italian. Was Italian. So I love that. That was part of that. Also, my grandfather used to tell us stories about our ancestors, and he told us that they were corsairs, and they even went to the pharmacies, and I'm not sure how much truth is in that, because we found out later that they were really politicians and not pirates. But
well, I mean, corsairs were legal pirates, right? I mean, they were allowed. They had papers that said they could be pirates. So
what's the difference?
Yeah, that's the difference. So that's
But I was fascinated. I was fascinated as a little kid, listening to your grandpa, and he was like happy having all his grandkids in front of him. He was telling them, how brave pirates and corsairs, because they were corsairs, not pirates. So it was that for me. So I love that part. But then I hit. And I know you're gonna laugh, Kelly, but I hit the Dresden Files. I'm a huge Butcher fan, but at the same time, I'm a huge Jane Austen fan. So kind of both books, series of books influenced me. So the Earl King, actually, I love the Earl King in Dresden, in the Dresden Files.
So I knew you had a dark heart in there somewhere. How can you love the Earl King from Dresden Files?
I love it. So I had to have him. So I had to have. Of course, I tried to do it my way, but yeah.
Oh, you have to do it your way. No, that makes sense. Something that inspires us doesn't mean we're copying them, right? Like we're inspired by them, and then we tell our story. No, 100%. I gotcha.
So pull a reference image up Google for a drawing.
Right? Exactly. I'm using this for inspiration. I'm not copying. So no, it works. And nobody reading your book is going to think you copied either. So you're good. You have a very unique way that you've built this world. Yes, definitely.
Yes. It's a different approach. But yes, I was inspired by that for all those pirates and also the fairy tales. I loved the fairy tales when I was a kid. All the real ones, not, I read these huge books that my family had. My mother had these huge books that were, from this Brothers Grimm's and, the Russian tales, Baba Yaga and all the stuff. So I will just devour them. So I love them. So of course it was natural that at some point I had to, mix the two.
Meld it all together.
Yep.
I love it.
Yeah, and Japan is because of Shogun, because I crazy about that book. So
yeah. I still have nightmares about Shogun.
Oh my God, I just love it. I love it. So there was something about it, and that's why Tito's a little bit obsessed with Japan.
Oh, I'm telling you, man, it hurt me literally.
And I have a scene actually in Japan with him and his friend Sergei, and another human with a touch of fae. But yeah. That's in the past.
Yes. Well, I mean, they go to Japan, but you're going to have to read if you want to know why.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know if I should try to read this or not. Sheep book, it's in Spanish. I'm going to try. Ready? You can laugh at me now. Li soy tu fan. Nos veremos pronto. Tenemos que celebrar.
Yeah, she said, I am your fan. We'll see each other soon. We have to celebrate. So she's a friend of mine. So thank you very much for being here. Yeah. Yeah.
The best I can do. Thank you, Sheepbook. And that was after 3 years of Spanish. You see, you're rocking it, man. You keep it up. And Laura says, can't wait to receive her copy. Yay! Yeah, we're very excited. Actually, Zepho, why don't we go ahead and give away our first signed copy real quick? So Zepho's going to put up, while we keep talking, Zepho's going to put up a link. So once that goes up, we will have the signed copy. Do you have one with you? I don't even have mine with me. How sad is that? All right, giveaway started. So if you hit bang ticket, ! Ticket, and then your chance will be entered to win. Zepho, if you'll put a timer on that so I don't have to worry about it. Can we do that? I don't know. We'll see what happens. You do have to be in Mexico or the US to get this copy, though. So Mexico or the U.S. But you'll be the first ones to get a signed copy, except I'm assuming Tracy and Jesse already got one. If not, they'll get them at the next event. Yeah, see, Jesse already got hers. There you go. There you go.
How long do you want to run, Kelly?
I don't know. A minute.
Well,
we have 2 to give away. Oh, see, we're close enough. So make sure to enter the bang ticket.
Points on the other side, Sheep.
That's right. Ooh, Cat Lady's here just in time. Awesome. You've been having so much fun, like pushing this book, I have to say. Lihia, your passion is incredible. I'm just going to clone you and make you do all of these for the record. And I know that so when you are like advertising, you're trying to tell people about this book, what do you really try to emphasize?
That's a very, very good question. I think one of the things that I want to emphasize is if you like adventure, because I think that's part of what I love about it, and an adventure, and when you travel from one place to the other, so it's not static, even though it's urban fantasy is not in just one city. It actually moves from a city to the Highlands and across the sea. So it actually moves from one place to another. So that's something that I love. So I want to transmit that. And I'm trying also to marry both the modern world with the fantasy lands. So that's another thing that I wanted to have. Also that it's a romance, but it's not the main plot. To me, I think what I also want to emphasize is I love fantasy, I love romance, but I'm trying to make them, balance each other, so it doesn't overpower the other. So that's part of what I'm trying to do.
Yep. Nope. I love it. I think there's a healthy bit of all of it. So we will, sorry, I was checking to make sure everything was done in the thing. There you go. Seifo's making sure everyone's getting in. All right, so let's pull a winner. No one can enter. Yeah, I know we need drum rolls. Dun. Miranda won! Yay, Miranda! Yay! Congratulations. Miranda, if you will, Seifo, can you get Miranda's info? Seifo will do that. And Seifo is wonderful. Thank you so much, Friday, for acknowledging it. We could not do any of this stuff without him, so that is incredible. Congratulations. So we'll make sure to get a signed copy out to you.
Yay!
Yay. And Sarah, so we talked a lot about like what different characters would do. And I know like Briseus was like everyone's favorite.
Yeah.
So what would you say, like using just a couple words, how would you describe Titus?
Brooding.
Ooh, yes, brooding. I like that one.
Brooding? Yeah.
Yeah, brooding's a good one. I like it. Okay, how about Ryan?
Bratty, actually.
Yeah, she is at the beginning for sure, right? Like she's very young at the beginning. So yeah, being bratty, that's fair, at least at the beginning. This is where you see character growth, so it's nice.
Yeah.
All right, how about one word for Peter? We haven't even talked about Peter at all.
Oh.
He's a Fae mentor.
There's a word. High class.
Oh, I like that one.
Yeah. I was going to say
like fancy until like, Titus comes around, right?
Yeah. And he's like all fancy and suave and like, I'm way too good to hang out with you, but I'm going to hang out with you anyway because you're kind of cool, but I don't want to admit that you're kind of cool, you know?
I love it. No, that's true. That's totally him. So we talked a lot about Titus, the love interest, but he also has his own storyline and is the POV character. We talked about Ryan, right? She's really the main character in this one. It's really her journey we're looking at first. We talked about Briseus, which is her companion, right? He's like her friend, but also her guardian, kind of, as in more like a warning signal, right?
Correct.
So that's what he is. And now, so Peter, so we haven't talked about Peter. So Peter is more like her mentor and her guide.
Yes.
So what did you envision for Peter when you put him in?
What do I envision for Peter?
Or just tell us about Peter, whatever you want about Peter.
Peter is
Peter's probably my like second favorite character. Yeah. I'm sorry, go ahead.
He's like a one-track mind soldier, or general actually. He's a one-track mind. He's like very obsessed with vengeance. He has a past, and Titus is part of that past. So even though Faye, and this is one of the things that I actually love playing with it, Faye and Bradais are the pirates. They have a hate toward each other, which is not unlike some of the hate that we have between races. That is very sad, because you are prejudiced and you don't want to see beyond that. So they both, they do have some reasons, especially the Fae against the Bradais, but they don't want to see beyond that. And Peter is like that. He's angry, and he's very angry, and he has an arc. Actually, you don't see it right now because, and this is one of the things that I was very sad when I had to delete my first draft, because Peter was more present in the first draft, and it was so fun because it was Peter and Titus. They constantly fight against each other, and Titus had a lot of fun, taking Ryan out of Peter's security. And Peter did some things that it was very fun, but it had to go, unfortunately. So I had to, he's a little bit more present in book 2, and definitely he's going to be way more present in book 3. And there might be some romance. So, okay, I'm not going to say anything about that right now. But
excitement comes. It will be in my inbox any day now. I'm so excited. Well, I've got like a month, but still.
Yeah. It's very fun. So anyway, in this book 1, you will see him, just focus on vengeance. That's all he sees. His hatred doesn't let him see and doesn't let him act as he was before. He was a better man. He was a better man, and there was something that caused him pain, a lot of pain. And again, Titus is part and it's not part. It's kind of complicated. That's actually one of the backstory scenes that Kelly and I talk about, using it as a promotional, but we're going to do it for book 2, because I think the name Anna, for those who read book 1, is going to, click a bell.
Going to be more important. Yep.
And you will understand what happened between Peter, Titus, and this
and you'll
person.
see. Yeah. And quite frankly, there's definitely, bias going on. There's definitely racial conflict going on. But quite frankly, Peter's legit in his hatred towards Titus specifically. Yeah. Like it's legit for him based on his experience and what he's gone with him. It's fair.
Yeah.
I think Peter earned that just a little bit.
I think Peter earned it. So now, mind you, he goes a little too far, if you ask me, but he earned the way he feels about Titus. I think it's earned.
Yes.
And
he's very concerned about Ryan, and how when she interacts with Titus. I'm sorry, he's very concerned about it, because he's like, he doesn't see what is happening, why she must do that.
Yep. And well, I love the audience is asking about Peter. About how they said Peter's screen time didn't really pan out, Pine Lord says. Pine Lord, that's your fault, Birdie.
I know. You're welcome.
Yeah, it's totally your fault. Yeah. Anyways, but I laughed because I was also like, wait, is this like Peter Pan? And that's not his Fae name, right? And he is not Peter Pan from the books at all. But Ryan named him Peter. So can you please tell us why that connection is there?
So Ryan was 8 years old when she saw Bridges for the first time. They actually treat her, and she was able to see them. So she actually fell into a river trying to catch a pixie, and Bridges take her out. And then Peter, whose real name is Galchobayer. I'm sorry if I didn't pronounce that right. This is how I sounded in my head, Galchobayer.
You're the writer, so however you said it was right for this one. No, you're good.
Galchobayer. So, and of course she was 8. She was like, what? No, you're Peter Pan. You look like Peter Pan. And she was like, you didn't want to grow up, Peter. And so she hugged his legs, and she didn't want to let him go, because of course they were pixies, and there was this guy in green robes with reddish brown hair. Of course it was Peter Pan.
It has to be Peter Pan. Yeah. I think it's perfectly logical conclusion. Yeah.
So she called him Peter because his name was very hard for her to pronounce. So she knows him since she's 8, also British. So that's why she called him Peter. And actually the Lady of the Tide, which is where the Fae dwell, her name is Quidetach, But of course, Ryan calls her Quitty. So she's Quitty here, Quitty that. Of course, only to her, because she can't say that name in front of her. She has to be very formal when she's with the lady. So yeah.
Yep.
So that's why she believes. And also that's another short story that we have in store, right? At some point. How
yes,
Ryan got
have
her
that.
gift.
So how she does it too. Yeah, we've got lots of short stories.
Yeah.
I was a horrible editor and I made her cut a lot of stuff. So there's a lot of really cool things.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering
for book 2 what's going to happen. Yes, I'm a little bit worried about that too.
Well, you know, my scissors are sharp, so it's fine.
I know. I'm already over
I know, that's why I'm worried.
I'm already over the top, and you know, that's like, oh my God. And I want to add a little bit more. I know she's going to break the big scissors. Yeah, I know you will.
Yeah, I told you, don't worry about it. Just write it. We'll take care of it. It'll come out in the end. It'll all work. Zepho, let's go ahead and do the second giveaway. And I want to ask more questions. All right. So, what is Ryan's favorite movie?
Well, I was thinking about Bridges, which is the Pirates of the Caribbean, because Bridges hate pirates, but I keep thinking about Bridges. You know, it's kind of difficult for Ryan to go to the movies with Bridges because he will just yell, "Pirates!" He hates pirates, by the way. And she has to shush him, and of course, she can't. But her favorite movie, that's a good one.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Huh. What do you think her favorite movie would be, Sarah?
Well, I imagine it's more like how every parent's favorite movie is whatever Disney movie just came out, because that's the only thing that their kid will watch. And so, like, Brassies puts on the Pirates of the Caribbean, and so that's the only movie that she gets to see.
Yeah, you know, I think that's fair. She probably knows that soundtrack as well as I do, listening to it while I'm writing.
And actually, you have to know that Bridges loves war movies. He loves them because he's a little drill sergeant. You don't see that too much in the book because I had to cut that part, but he's like, 6 a.m., wake up, we have to jog, we have to run, come on, let's practice. Because that's why she's a jogger, because he makes her run, like, you're tired, no, how can you be tired, run. So he's very and he loves movies like that. There's one of the Fae guards who's called a Daig. They are like huge troll, those little troll toys, like with orange hair, but big.
Oh yeah, the trolls. Yeah, the troll doll things.
And that's why Titus call him Trollface, because they have like wild orange hair.
He does have wild orange hair. Yeah, that works.
Yeah, his name is Lotto. That's another scene that I had to cut, but Lotto loves to visit them, and Bridges and him will watch movies, so they won't let Ryan see a lot of movies because they always want to see movies. Actually, Lotto likes to quote Star Trek and Star Wars, and even Casablanca. So she has to see what they want to see. But she, I think Bridges loves movies like Rambo or things like that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I love it. All right. Titus loves to swim.
Yes.
So he loves this connection with water. Are we going to get more of that in book 2? Are we going to get more of why that is?
Yes. Oh, yes. There, you're going to see why, what happened there. Because he doesn't remember.
I mean, I just want him in spandex going for a swim. I'm okay with this. I mean, you could just put that in, and that's no problem for me.
He actually likes to dive in the nude, but that's another.
I say, skip the spandex. Just take the pirate shirt off and jump on in.
Yeah, he's like, I mean, remember that he's an old-fashioned dude. So he's like, in back in the day, the men didn't mind, removing their clothes, and he just removes his clothes and just dives into the sea. Yeah, because it's bothersome to
it'll be fine.
It'll
be fine.
Yeah. I mean, he sometimes, when he convinces. Oh, okay, I can't say that because that's something at the end of the book. Okay, never mind.
That's right.
I was about to spoil, do a big spoiler, but yeah, no.
I guess they're talking about the CC crew.
Oh, CC crew, they're here. Oh, actually, there's some of you. What? Is he here? Oh my God! Yay!
There's a bunch of people on here. What
Oh
DATs?
my God.
You're gonna have to tell us what the CC group is, and then we can have Zafo. Make sure everyone, real quick, before we pick a winner, hit bang ticket if you want in the contest for a signed copy of the book.
Miranda, what DATs? Jessie, Tracy. I actually met Jessie or Tracy from CC. You know, I spent years.
Is that the critique
there.
group thing?
Yes.
Gotcha.
CC, Critic Circle, yes. So I spent years in there, and I met a lot of amazing writers. I mean, I read a lot of amazing books in there. Not published, of course, at that moment. So there are, writers who are sharpening their writing skills. So it was amazing to read their stories and, have feedback from my stories on their stories. So yeah, they read a lot of things from me, some of them.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, again, so Sarah, again, you read a ton of these books. Who do you think would like this one? Who is this book for?
This book is for like the older women who still want to read the teenage books, but like you can't go to the teenage section anymore because then you get made fun of for reading YA books.
Wait. What are you trying to say about older women, you youngin'? What's this?
No. Like 24, 25.
Oh, okay.
Like you're no longer 16 and cannot read the book about the girl who goes to high school anymore. It gets smelled by weird emo kids. Like, you're 26. Come on. Read this one about the girl who gets kidnapped from her day job by a weird emo kid.
That's right, not high school. I love it. No, that's a really good point. Because quite frankly, once you get to be our age, like mine and Lihia, we just buy books wherever we want. We don't care. We're not embarrassed. But when you're just over the YA age, you might be more like, oh no, I can't go there anymore. I'm an adult.
Well, I read a lot of YA books when with my kids. So and I love them. I'm not ashamed to say it. I love, Harry Potter. I love Rick Riordan. So yeah.
Well, that's middle grade. Yeah, but same thing. Yeah, no, I love middle grade too. Yeah, this is not for middle grade though. This is definitely higher.
No, that's not middle grade. Because right now this book doesn't have really spice, just a little bit, but romance might be a little
tried.
Yeah, she tried. She wanted that. But yeah, it might have a little bit more in book 2, but yeah, the stakes are higher in book 2. Of course, they should be. It's gonna be more.
Kelly's writing. Of course, she tried.
Yes.
Mine's not that bad. It's just fine. Actually. So awesome. All right, let's pick the winner. Let's pick the winner for our second signed book on this amazing day. Being an adult is overrated. You're right, Wolf Lady.
Yes, she's right. I can do adulting today.
Oh, what? That's why.
Oh,
that's amazing. Congratulations. All right, the Zafo, either a Zafo or Cursed Dragon ship, I don't know which identity, will get your info so we can send that. So there you go. And I think what Dad said that they read it on CC. So now they get to see what it looks like in its published form. It'll be pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's very different from what they read. A lot different. Yeah. So yeah,
that'd be
amazing.
Cool. That'll be great. Awesome.
Did you Friday asked?
No, I didn't.
Friday asked, who would you like to have breakfast with?
Oh yeah, which character?
Which character would you like to have breakfast with?
Don't do it with titles because he will kidnap you. When you do breakfast with him.
That's true. It's probably. Wait. Are you saying that like it's a bad thing? Hold on.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know what he's fighting for.
Depending what he wants you for.
Still, I'm not seeing it's really.
I think I would like to have breakfast with Peter. I think it will be fun to pick his brain.
Yeah, I don't know. Dried fruit and nuts. That's probably all he'd feed us. I'm not sure.
That reminds me.
The way I see it is I'm not touch of fated. He doesn't care about me. I just get fancy food that I can't afford on my own.
And he would pay.
Yeah. Because he's a gentleman.
Yes. Yes, he will.
Would pay. It would all be good. I love that. Breakfast. But that's one of a good question because, who would do breakfast and what would you do for dinner, right? Because it'd be a different person you take for breakfast than dinner.
Yes.
So it's always an interesting thing.
And Titus does fancy dinners, at his ship. Yeah, he likes that. Yeah. Oh, he also likes to do breakfast. Yeah.
Well, you have like there's a whole bunch, like the Fae. We get a little bit more of them in this one because again, this one's more about Ryan's journey, and so we get more of the Fae world. And then, but there's a whole bunch of Bradai that Titus has kind of separated himself a little bit from them.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, when you're creating the Bradai and like that whole dynamic, who do you use for inspiration? Like, are you mad at your husband that week and he becomes the character? You know, are you like somebody at work really making you mad? Like, what do you use as inspiration for them?
You know, it's kind of funny. I actually don't use real people.
What?
I'm not inspired. Not inspired by someone in particular. I kind of when before I write them, I think a lot of writers do this. We just picture things in our heads, you know, and we picture the person. So when I had these Bradais characters, they just, you know, maybe they have some. I mean, they're bloodlust, gold-lusting hyenas, as Titus tells about them. So they're not like any people I really know. Maybe from a book inspiring, and I get like from here and there, but it's nothing like not inspired by a particular person or character. I mean, I can tell you the Earl King. It's based on you know, on the legend, and because I also you know, research about what's the legend and things like that. But for the other Bradais, which you will see more in you will see a few more in book 2, and definitely in book 3 you'll see more as well. Yeah, they're not the main one, the Alpha Edward. I actually I named him Edward after Blackbeard, actually, because he was Edward Tech. So he he was Blackbeard, and he just got bored and he decided to put a persona, because they were, you know, they faked being pirates to avoid being detected by the Fae. So that's why they are called pirates. So they have these special ships. Yes. And so Edward did something like that. Yeah.
I love it.
So a little bit, but he's not Blackbeard. I mean, he's just a little bit inspired, but not really Blackbeard. So they have like their own personalities. And yeah, I don't really get inspired on people. It's kind of funny. They're just little people inside my head.
That's fair. I mean, I try not to do it too. I get that. All right, let's ask our fun questions real quick at the end. We want to know a little bit more about you guys. So first, what is your favorite kind of candy? This is for both of you.
Sorry, go ahead, Sarah.
Oh no, it's your show. This is your book launch. I'm good.
No, but you were answering. Go ahead.
I always like chocolate.
Just chocolate?
Just chocolate.
Like, so specific?
No. The dark chocolate Cadbury bar is the best dark chocolate I've ever had. But I'm always happy with chocolate.
Fair. And Lihia?
For candy, as in just I love the like the soft ones, like toffee or chocolate mint toffee, toffee like. Oh my god, I love that. Yeah. But also this is very Mexican. I also love the mango with chile. Oh my god, that's good. That's good as well.
I'm almost out of my tamarind candy.
Oh yes,
there was one of them that was too spicy for me, but everything else was delicious.
You will have to tell me which ones. So if you want me to bring them to Dallas,
because I need more. That's right.
Yeah, so I love Mexican candy, to be honest. There's a lot, and I know that it's not for everyone, but it's a little bit spicy. But we love to put some spice in everything. So.
Well, I have a question for you, because it's funny. We put up just a funny meme of a taco, but it was like a crunchy shell. This is Midwestern taco. Mind you, we're in Houston. That's not our tacos either. But however, you were like, no, that's not a taco. This is a taco. So I have a question for you. What do we always get wrong about tacos that drives you crazy?
First of all, when you put the lotus creme and cheddar cheese and tomatoes, oh, no, you don't do that. No. No. I mean, we have a lot of different versions of tacos. It depends also in the region, but yeah, it almost gives me the crepes.
You're like, it's not right.
I mean, only if they are flautas, which are the long ones that are rolled, and they're fried, and you put some sour cream and shredded lettuce, but not tomato, and definitely not cheddar cheese. You never use cheddar cheese on tacos. It's a different type of cheese, yes, that we use. It's different, it's fresher. Yeah, it's not Jello, not any Jello cheese.
No yellow cheese.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, Laura says sour cream and cheddar cheese. Ugh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, she understands me. She understands me.
Yep, I got that. It's been a progression, because growing up for me, Taco Bell was Mexican food. Like, this is how I grew up, right? And then so as you explore the real world, you actually find out what Mexican food actually is. We definitely separate. Again, in Houston, right? We have a huge food, it's the food around here is incredible. So, but we separate Tex-Mex from Mexican. This is two different kinds of restaurants. You know what I mean? Do you do that too, Sarah?
Yeah. Well, my family is from East Texas, so like we're right there, like right in the middle between like actual Mexican and Texican. So yeah,
it's broken up. These are two different kinds of foods. Like, I was surprised. I will say most Americans don't realize how much seafood is eaten in Mexico, right? Because that's not what we see. So that kind of thing, like learning that as I got older, I was like, oh, well, that's kind of cool. I love seafood.
Yeah, someone said taco is more of a tortilla stuff in it. Yeah. I mean, the important thing is the tortilla, which is different when you try it here. The ingredients are just not the same. But yes, you stuff it with a lot of things. Yeah.
Which is what we do here. I mean, that's what we had for dinner today.
Taco Tuesday today for you guys, right?
It is. And I had tacos today. Like, that's a never. It just happened to be because we could put the chicken in the crock pot and let it cook.
But we do have specific ingredients. It depends on the region, but we do have, like, you use this and this. So we're very specific. Yeah. Otherwise, it's not. Yeah.
I'm just like, if I put, usually for the crock pot, I'll put in the cinnamon sticks, jalapenos, garlic.
Oh, no, cinnamon sticks.
Oregano, and what else did I put in there? Chicken stock. And then, of course, the chicken, I put a ton of chili powder and cumin. I love cumin. Cumin's probably my favorite spice, period.
Yeah, we don't use that.
Oh, I do. All the time. On everything. I love cumin.
No, it's okay. It's okay. But you mean I'm traditional Mexican food, yeah.
I wasn't making traditional Mexican food. I was making chicken in a crock pot.
Oh, okay. Then that's fine.
Yeah.
Then I like
and
that.
And I served it in a tortilla. So technically...
You're good to go. There's no rules in food. I mean, at the end, you have to like your food. You can do whatever you like. It's like books. You like whichever you want. There are no rules. Just eat the food that you want. Funny. Just eat the food that you like. It doesn't matter if it's sour cream and cheddar cheese and things like that. That's okay.
Really, I think we should evolve Mexican food as the people who are cooking tacos, because I also put cinnamon on my chicken tacos.
I put the cinnamon sticks in the crock pot, right? Like, I don't sprinkle it on there, but it's in there. It makes a huge difference. So it's amazing. But I love it. And I've seen lots of Mexican cookbooks that they use a lot of cinnamon sticks. So they just obviously don't do it in your part. Yeah. No, they just don't do it. Well, cinnamon's not sweet. It's not sweet at all, not unless you put sugar in it. Cinnamon's not sweet.
I mean, we use cinnamon a lot, but in desserts, yeah.
Yeah. No, the cinnamon, you don't put the cinnamon on the chicken. That would be gross. You put the cinnamon sticks in when you're making the chicken, and that gives a completely different flavor.
Oh, interesting.
They use it a lot in Asian cooking too. You actually use the cinnamon sticks and throw them in. But yeah, it's nice. Pretty amazing. Yeah.
I will have to try that then.
It's pretty incredible, I'm telling you. It just gives a little extra something. Yep.
Somebody doesn't like the internet.
You're just gonna have to trust me. We're good at this cooking thing. Excellent. So this was fun. So what we want to do is I'm going to leave. Do you have any last words? Let me start with Sarah so that we end with our author. So Sarah, do you have any last words, recommendations you have for this book?
Read it.
I love that.
Yeah.
Second that.
Sign up for the newsletter. Read the thing that comes in front of it. The prologue short story. It was a good book. It's a fun romp. I had a great time editing it. And like my first read through, I stayed up probably way too late, like just reading. I wasn't even editing. I was just having fun.
That's high praise. That's always been like, oh no, I'm supposed to be editing this. Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right. So, Lehia, what are your last words?
Well, first of all, thank you so much for all the support for this debut author. I'm really, I can't tell you what I feel right now. It's overwhelming in a good sense. So thank you so much for coming here. Thank you so much for, your attention to my work. I really appreciate it. I can promise you, this book has years in the making, and also amazing people who has helped me with it. So, so it's a good book, and I hope you enjoy it. And thank you again. Thank you so much for your interest in my work. I really appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. I know it sounds corny, but I really mean it.
Corny's good. This is a romance fantasy. Corny's good.
Yeah, I am.
Plus, that's the other thing. It also has a lot of heart in this book. So
yes, there's a lot of heart.
And Sarah, if anyone is looking for editing work, because you do developmental editing, copy editing, and proofreading, where can people find you?
LadyBirdEditing.com. I have a website now.
Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! You are official. I love it.
I am official. It is on Google. If you look up Lady Bird Editing space novel, I am like the first. I think I'm like the first show up. And then if you just do Lady Bird Editing, I'm like number 6, because people like to talk about the editing that happened in the movie Lady Bird. So like you have to scroll down a little bit, but I'm there, baby.
That's so fun.
Oh, I love it. I love it. And Lehia, so we talked earlier going to your website. If you could tell us what that is again, so people can get the short story and join your newsletter.
Yeah.
And where can they find you and your work?
Okay, so it's www.ligiadewitt, Ligia dewitt.com. You can find me there, and you can find me as Lehia DeWitt author, both in Instagram, Facebook. I don't do much Twitter, but I'm in there, and I'm trying TikTok now. Also, Lehia DeWitt author.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you so much. And now that you have your copy of Touch of Fate and you're really excited, please make sure to leave a review wherever it is you get your books. You can also leave a review for this podcast, wherever it is you get your podcast. You can also follow us on Twitch or subscribe on YouTube. And we'll see you next week, where we ask our next author 20 questions. See you then.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone.